Hi, if you're new to my channel, I make videos on spirituality and mental health, and this video is part 2 to my first video on fairies. I'll link part 1 down below. In this video, I'm going to talk about the elementals and a bit of the history on fairies, what people used to think about them and believe about them. So first we have salamanders, my favorite. And I'm not talking about the amphibians. I'm talking about the fairy, the mythological fairy salamander. Salamanders are usually depicted as fairies or as dragon-like creatures. And I would like to point out that fairies and dragons are not the same thing. They are just two separate categories. Dragons are their own thing. Salamanders are known to live in very hot places where there's fire, such as volcanoes. Salamanders in fairy mythology are known to be resistant to fire. They can control fire, create fire, and put out flames. And how exactly did these salamanders come to be? Well, people believe that since amphibian salamanders hibernate in logs of wood during winter, they could easily be found in there. And humans use logs of wood to fuel their fire. Therefore, when they were trying to escape the flames, people saw them and thought, oh my God, they are born of the flame. No, they were just hibernating in the logs of wood. That's it. And sometimes salamanders are depicted as balls of light, and sometimes they are just depicted as traditional fairies. And now we have earth fairies, gnomes, sometimes also depicted as dwarves, like the ones from Snow White. And gnomes really do like gems. They like anything shiny and pretty. So it makes sense in the movie that they're digging out diamonds. But usually gnomes are known to be 15 centimeters tall, so they're pretty tiny. So most gnomes are known to be 7 times stronger than a man. They're able to run at 35 miles per hour, and they have better sight than a hawk. And these amazing skills allow them to care for animals in need because they love Mother Nature. Animals and gnomes they're like this. They're best friends. And then we have the air fairies, sylphs. They very much look like a traditional fairy. They're very pretty and elegant and have wings. And obviously they are found in the sky. They can control winds, clouds, weathers, steam, anything related to air. They might often have the ability to turn invisible. They are very resistant to electricity. And if you think about it, clouds, thunder, storms, it makes sense. And the last elemental would be the water fairies, undines or undines, however you want to pronounce it. Other types of water fairies would be nymphs and mermaids. Yes, mermaids are also fairies. They are found in water or any place humid. They can control the elements of water, and of course, they cannot drown, the same way that salamanders cannot be burned. They tend to look enchanting and beautiful and have amazing voices to lure people in, very much like sirens. Maybe sirens are water fairies. So I'm pretty sure that this is a Christian belief, but legend has it that fairies don't have souls, including undines. However, if they marry a human, they can gain a soul. And centuries ago, when people still believed in fairies, they were terrified of them. They believed that they would replace you with one of their own, or you would be possessed by them, especially if you were unbaptized. Your soul was in danger. Keep in mind, this was also a time where people did not understand mental illnesses. And back then, if someone was schizophrenic, bipolar, if they had Down syndrome or autism, it was not seen as a mental disorder. It was seen as a demonic possession, as a fairy kidnapping. And I follow a lot of content creators that talk about their mental health disorders, and I see lots of people in the comments always saying, you have been possessed by the devil, you need to turn to Jesus. Oh my God. So obviously a lot of babies, especially unbaptized babies who happen to have autism or Down syndrome, their parents did not understand why they were different, and they have been told that their baby was likely possessed by a demon or kidnapped by a fairy. And they were told that in order to get the baby out, they had to boil it or make it undergo some other form of torture, and that way they could get the fairy out and get their baby back. And obviously that did not work. Back then, fairies were not seen as pretty or cute in any way whatsoever. They were terrifying. And I would say that concludes our video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Blessed be, and bye.